It's Wednesdays with Keegan. I am Dan, and Keegs. Tuesday night, I think, is exactly what the doctor ordered for the Toronto Blue Jays. A boring, tidy, succinct win where nothing crazy happened. Jays fans need a little boredom in their life, and they got it thanks to Trey Yesavage's first start of the season.
Yeah, nobody got hurt. There was no news story to write in the middle of the game. I think it was under 2.5 hours, Dan. Not saying that that's all I care about, but I care about it a lot. Man, that was just like you said, a tidy, clean baseball game. And Trey Yesavage looked fantastic. Man, that's exactly what the Blue Jays need and what they need to see more of from Yesavage, because I'd compare it almost, Dan, to Dylan Cease, where some days you get absolute brilliance. Other days it's a bit of a slog. There's a lot of pitches being run up. He's not finishing innings. They need more of what Yesavage just did, what we often see Kevin Gausman do, which is go out and just keep the game steady, because this offense is good enough. When we see this offense playing like they did in 2025, they're an offense I trust to win a lot of ball games if you just keep the game in front of them. Too often this season, you've had Max Scherzer just going 2 innings or injured starters or some sort of mess out in front of them, and they've been chasing, and they're chasing games. This offense is not really built to chase games. Like, that's more of a power offense when you're going to slug your way back into a game. This offense is built to win the 4-3, 5-4 baseball game, and that is what they're being given more often now. It feels a little less like a crisis right now, Dan. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. They're 13-16, but it feels less terrible, briefly.
There was a moment where you're like, oh, here it is, because we're all waiting. We're all waiting for something to go bad when Vladdy got hit in the hand, but all indications point to nothing happened there.
That's right. Yeah, Vladdy's pretty armored up there. He is. Sometimes you can't see it because it blends in with like the arm sleeve he's wearing and stuff. But he is extremely well protected. He's got the elbow guard, wrist guard, I think a back of his hand guard as well. So I feel like once a month he takes a ball off the wrist and we all worry. Thankfully, he's okay. We'll see. I'm expecting him in the lineup today, and ideally George Springer's back in that lineup. But yeah, he's pretty built up, man. He looks like the old like 1990s DH. You know, I'm thinking like even like Barry Bonds when he was later in his career, how armored up he got. Mo Vaughn of the Red Sox. Like, these guys would be wearing like football gear up to the plate. So glad he's a smart man.
And we saw Jeff Hoffman. That it was a great outing from him, pitching in the middle of the game. And we've almost got circa 19 late 80s, early 90s Blue Jays, where Dwayne Ward would set up Tom Hankey. So now we got Tyler Rogers setting up for Louis Varland.
It's not bad, man. This looks pretty good the way it is. I know the Blue Jays want to get back to Hoffman as the closer, and I still mostly agree with that, because then you have Louis Varland. You can put him wherever you want. That's still very valuable. I still think the best version of this bullpen is with a very good Jeff Hoffman as the closer. But that's kind of getting a little too fine with it. That's nitpicking right now. Varland looked great, but Jeff Hoffman was probably the most encouraging thing of the night for me. 10 pitches, 8 strikes, clean inning. And number one, I really respect how Jeff Hoffman's handled this. You know, while I would have disagreed with him, it wouldn't have been shocking if a closer who just lost their job blew up the manager or made some pouty remarks in the media. He handled it well. He took this from a team standpoint of recognizing that he just wasn't good enough lately. He wanted to put the team first, and I like that from Jeff Hoffman. He handled it well to the media. He's handled it well on the field his last 2 outings, and this one was as good as we've seen him in a long time. And so credit to Jeff Hoffman in this one. And then Louis Varland, like, this was a more clean save. He had that messy one a few days ago.
Yeah.
But something about Louis Varland fits as a closer, man. Like, there's something, like, most closers, I always compare them to goalies. Like, they've just got something that's a little ratcheted up or down or whatever it is. They're different guys. So Louis Varland seems to fit that, man. He was pretty fired up out there. And closer by committee, sure. But it's just like any sort of running back by committee, whatever. Pretty quickly, you see who the best guy is. and you just go with him.
Well, they say it's closer by committee, but if you're hanging out with a girl and you say she's just my friend and she moves in with you, people are going to say, "Okay, you guys are more than friends now. You guys are living together. You're boyfriend and
Yeah,
girlfriend." So I think the closer by committee has given way to no. Louis Varland's your closer.
pretty much just Louis Varland now. I thought there would be some more opportunities to move him around. Like the thing we have not seen yet, Dan, is 3-0 game like last night, but the biggest inning coming up is the 8th inning. Like that's when the other team's 2, 3, 4 hitters are coming. That one will be interesting to see when it does happen. Will they bump up Louis Varland to have their best reliever in the most important spot? I think that's still possible. And then you put Braden Fisher or Flu Hardy, someone like that, in the 9th inning. But the closer's pretty much Louis Varland right now. And then you get to the point of where do you make the switch? Like if Jeff Hoffman has 10 more of these in a row and he looks fantastic, do you pivot right back? Or is there a temptation just to leave well enough alone if Louis Varland looks good? There's personalities and their own wants and needs are involved in that. But it's similar, Dan, to the conversation we're starting to have about Brendan Little in AAA. He's not really allowing runs. He's looked good. But when do you make the move and when do you challenge them back with what was hurting them early on? It could be not awkward. It's a good problem if they get there, but still, it's one where you got to find the sweet spot.
I had the pleasure of seeing you at the game.
Yeah.
I got to go with some Bet Rivers colleagues, and while watching that game, I pointed out to them. I said, "Guys, this is a Tuesday night game in April. Look at the crowd. I believe
Yeah.
it was there was 41,000 people there on a Tuesday night game in April for a team that's below 500. That is the indicator that no matter what happened to the Jays in the early start of the season, everyone's showing up for this team."
Yeah, this team's making money right now. That's
Yeah.
no problem. I have even been shocked by the crowds, honestly. I knew it would be bigger. I knew there would be more. But I thought that it would be an early peak, Dan, and then quiet down a little bit until summer, until school's out or whatever, and you start to get a lot of the family trips in because not everybody at a Blue Jays game lives downtown within walking distance like me. Like you got to plan to get into the ballpark, and moving around the city of Toronto or in and out of the city of Toronto is a horrendous experience. So a lot of people getting to a Jays game, like you're dedicating your day to that, right? So I thought that it might have the early peak with some sellouts, dip a little bit, and then by June pick back up. It has not dipped at all. They are selling out, like you said, on a Tuesday.
Mhm.
Like I lose track of days, Dan. I didn't know it was a Tuesday, but it was a Tuesday last night. And that is wild. Okay. Like I'm going to bring up as we talk just the kind of attendance early last year before it really took off, because this is just such a
Oh, I was at
different
one of those games early last year. There
experience.
was maybe 24,000.
Yeah,
Maybe.
here's a great example. I'm looking last Monday, April 14th of last year. I'm trying to find an April early series. They were playing against Atlanta. On a Monday, they had
I was at that
21,000. There
series.
we go. Tuesday was 26,000. Wednesday was 25,000. That's what I thought it would be. Now you're seeing sellout crowds on Mondays and Tuesdays. Look around Major League Baseball. Like, yeah, the Yankees and the Red Sox, they sell out everything. But look at some of the middle or lower market teams. They have empty ballparks. Like, watch the morning Sports Center highlight loop and pay attention when home runs are hit. Who's sitting in the outfield? Nobody. The Blue Jays are counting money right now. And this is, I mean, it's a good thing for baseball too, because that money goes somewhere. Some of it goes back into the team. But if you're going to be spending at record levels like the Jays are, it really helps the sustainability of all of this that you're getting a lot of fans in. Because between last year and this year, Dan, just comparing those numbers, there's a lot of nights, another 15,000 people in that ballpark. A lot of those people are, buying expensive tickets. Those aren't getting any cheaper. My God, they are buying the $18 beers, some food that's not just a dollar hot dog. They're buying a jersey and a hat, which costs you approximately $10 million these days. They're parking. It's such a game changer for not just like the Sky Dome, but for everything around it.
Mhm.
Having this many people come in, man, it's a massive impact.
If you look closely at that Atlanta series, I was there in attendance for a very historic moment. I was there for Anthony Santander's first home run as a Toronto Blue Jay.
Wow.
It
There
happened
we
in that
go.
series.
Years from now,
A
that'll be like
shot to
saying
right
you were at the
field.
first game at the X. I witnessed an Anthony Santander home run. I tell you.
Oh, look, people can't see it, but your Poochie made it into the shot. We rarely get to see it on camera.
Yeah, the dog knows when I'm doing TV here. And she likes to come in, pretend she's asleep, but she's really trying to launch her own career off of my coattails. It's disgusting.
So Anthony Santander, he's probably not back this season, so we
Yeah.
can scratch him off our injury updates. But as you and I discussed during the game last night, I thought we were going to see George Springer. That didn't happen. Is it going to happen this week?
I think it happens today on
Okay.
Wednesday, probably. We'll see how he feels this morning. Right now, it sounds like the bone is healed enough, however that works. And he was just dealing with a bit of soreness the last couple of days. So if George Springer can come back today or tomorrow, Thursday in Minneapolis at the latest, that's such a win for this lineup because you don't just get your number one hitter back. It also puts the rest of the lineup back where they're supposed to be.
Yes.
Nathan Lucas, Ernie Clement, Miles Straw have all been leading off. They've done well with it. That's just not how the lineup's supposed to work. It's supposed to be George Springer, somebody at number 2, Vladdy, and then maybe Kaz Okamoto at number 4. I really like that right now. What the Blue Jays did so well last year was with their 6, 7, 8, 9. That's where they just had some fun with the lineup. That's where they got really aggressive chasing matchups. That's where they got aggressive bunting, hit and run, just more aggression. George Springer and Vladdy and those guys, they can just out talent you. Okay, they can just go up and hit. But the bottom of the lineup, when you look at Heineman, Straw, Lucas, Clement, Jimenez, there's some speed in that group. There's some contact in that group. And when you bunch them together, that's when the coaching staff can really have some fun and push the envelope a bit. Lately, it's just been too spread out because everyone is just trying to triage this whole situation and get through it. But George Springer will be back. Addison Barger probably in a week. And Alejandro Kirk in a few weeks, 3-4 weeks maybe. So this is moving back in the right direction.
Who's winning the battle to stay with Kirk when he does return?
Right now, I think it's still Heineman. Valenzuela has had such an opening here to do something, and he's flashed. Like, his defense has been really impressive. But then again, when I look at Heineman, I mean, he's batting 178. I don't think there's an extra base hit in there. Some of last year's batted ball luck for Tyler Heineman. I'm not saying that season was all luck, but an element of it was a lot of ground balls getting through. That hasn't been there. So, man, now that I look at Heineman's numbers, it's tough. He does have the situation where Brandon Valenzuela still has options. So that can be a part of this where you might lose Heineman. But, man, Valenzuela's upside still is tantalizing to me. He has gotten overwhelmed at the plate a couple of times. He has. But his throwing arm behind the plate is a true weapon, like that can change a game. And even though his numbers are not impressive so far, like I'm just bringing up what he's done. He's hitting 147. It hasn't been great. 1 walk, 14 strikeouts. That tells you that it's a young hitter who's been a bit overmatched when you have that ratio. 1 walk, 14 Ks. But I still think he's made a good impression. I judge catchers so differently. Like, I don't care if you hit 300. There are not many catchers who are offensive forces right now in Major League Baseball, backups especially. So I think Heineman sticks if it happens today, but neither of them are doing much, which means that whoever gets hot for 2 weeks can easily take this.
Max Scherzer has been a topic of discussion with us. As I mentioned last Friday with CJ Nikowski, I said with each start, you wonder, okay, is this the last one? And then he goes out and gives up 7 runs. And then after we discussed it on Monday, he's now on the injured list. So what's happening with Max Scherzer?
Yeah, this one I feel like has been so obviously headed in this direction for a while. We didn't know about this ankle foot issue that Scherzer was dealing with. He told us and explained it to us that it was his landing foot, his front foot. And he recognized that because of this issue with his landing foot, he was adjusting some of his mechanics around that. And Max is really obsessive about that idea. We heard it last year with his thumb, and he would get very worried when he would adjust his grip on the ball or his forearm, his elbow position to account for his thumb. And that is just a chain reaction that will blow up your elbow, right? And with this foot issue, I think it's the same thing in his mind, where you don't want to start altering your plant leg, how your hips are, the rotation of your body. That will put strain on a part of your body in a way it hasn't before. Something else will go. So he is going to take some time now, a week off to start, and they'll go from there. I don't think he's going to be rushed back, and I don't expect him to be back, quickly. I don't think this is a minimum stay on the IL. But his forearm tendonitis as well, he has downplayed that and said that it's not impacting him. If we're talking about someone's forearm, it's not good.
No.
Yeah, I know that it's not a strain. He's been very clear to say this is not a strain. It's just tendonitis. But if we're talking about a pitcher's forearm at 41, I struggle to find it not worrying. So we'll see where this goes. This is a big let's wait 3 weeks and see type of thing in my mind. And maybe Max Scherzer shocks us all and comes right back and is cursing at everyone and striking guys out. We'll see. He's still one shy of 3,500. But I would assume that this takes a bit of time. And especially with Jose Berrios coming back, the Blue Jays can be very patient. There's not much urgency to force a guy back.
If fans are watching the Jays casually, you probably haven't seen Vladdy show up in major highlights this season. And then if you looked at his stats, I haven't heard what he's doing. I wonder if he's having a good season. Vladdy is quietly hitting 340. So have we reached the point where we're so complacent and used to Vladdy performing well, where you're like, oh crap, he's hitting 340?
It amazes even me, Dan. And I was on the radio this morning and I got a question, like Vladdy, only 2 home runs, but he's hitting 340. And I had admittedly just woken up and I was on the radio like, oh, is he actually?
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
You don't expect to see that number.
It's second in Major League Baseball behind only Yordan Alvarez, who was off to a ridiculous start for Houston. One of my favorite hitters in this league. But Vladdy batting 340. I mean, this gets back to the conversation I think we're stuck in forever with Vladdy, Dan, which is, will you accept him being a 300 plus hitter if he's only hitting 25, 27 home runs? Yes. Like if you're going to win batting titles, like his whole life, scouts, front office people, player development people, even when Vladdy was 17 or 18, they would say that Vladdy is more of a hitter than a power hitter. And we don't assume that. We don't accept that, myself included, when he was coming up, because number one, he is built for power. He's huge. His last name is Guerrero. And we saw what he did in the minor leagues, where that power was so prodigious. Now we're seeing a guy have 340. I don't care if you have any home runs. Like, that's a very valuable baseball player. And would it be better if he was hitting 40 on top of that? Yeah, he'd be the MVP most years. But this seems to be the zone that Vladdy has fallen into. And I know there's going to be, like, when we talk about power, I think it gets excused away too much, Dan, when Vladdy's not getting pitches to hit. Well, how the hell does anyone hit home runs? Like, do you think Aaron Judge is getting pitches? Like, come on, okay? Do you think Barry Bonds was getting pitches in his peak era and all that? It's great power hitters find a way. We don't need to excuse it away and apologize for Vladdy. He's just doing it differently. And this different is working. The only kicker, Dan, is that the rest of the team needs to hit for power. Like, if your big $500 million bat is just, hitting 25, 27 home runs, that's fine, as long as the rest of your lineup is kind of an evenly spread power lineup as well. They can't get back to everyone just hitting singles. That's what they did in kind of like 2024. It didn't work, and it was really boring to watch, right? You need a little power along the way. So this is where Springer, Varsho, the return of Barger, Alejandro Kirk, that's where this comes in. And if everyone else is chipping in with their own 10, 15, 18 home runs, Vladdy hitting 340 will be just fine. We probably just won't have to talk about it as much because it's not as flashy.
I wanted your quick take on this because I saw an interview with Juan Soto of the New York Mets, and he was away from the team. He was injured, and a reporter asked him, "Oh, so were you like keeping in touch with the guys?" He essentially said, Nah, I didn't text them, didn't call them, didn't hang out with them. If I'm seeing that as a fan, I would see that as alarming.
Don't love it, especially with the money he's being paid. Now, there's a middle ground. The Blue Jays are, I almost said covered, but marketed. I guess it's the same thing a lot of days here, as the only team in baseball where the players are friends and they hang out, and and that's great. It's great. It's not as extreme. Like, not every player is holding hands and skipping down Blue Jays way to their shared condo. Yeah, but
Wait, that's a great mental image.
It's true. That'll be on the Blue Jays social within the week. But it is a very good clubhouse, and there is legitimate value to it. The Mets, like Juan Soto, like, just lie, man. Like,
yes,
no one's going to fact check
your way through it. Say, yeah, of course, we're a team.
Yeah, and I was watching the game, supporting them from afar. I'm trying to get back as quickly as I can. There's just something in the water with the Mets, man, and I don't know how to explain it. The Mets, the New York Jets, the Cleveland Browns, like these types of organizations, that it's just in the DNA. You can change the players, the ownership. There's always just this contagious something that gets into it. And if you're going to lose and be bad, you need a good clubhouse. You need to say the right things. The Blue Jays are a pretty good example of that earlier this year. And it's one of the reasons that there was optimism they'd turn this around. I've been around losing teams where I can tell they don't want to be there. They don't want to hang out. Once the game's over, they're out of there before I even get into the clubhouse. Like, the Blue Jays are a great example of the opposite. But the Mets, I mean, again, just lie. Come on. Yeah. I'm not going to go from person to person in the locker room being like, did Juan Soto text you? It's so easy. And I know New York's a different media monster than Toronto, much harder, much more real. But it's so easy just to say the right thing and smile and survive.
I asked ChatGPT if Citi Field was built on cursed land. They said no credible evidence. Because I thought, okay, that's got to be it.
Oh, man, it's rough. That image of Bo Bichette in the dugout was tough.
Yeah, just want to hug the guy. Thanks, buddy. Yeah.